an interview session with you, so we want to look at the budget for the solid mineral investment in the country. Last year, the report we got is not very okay. But for this year, we want to see if there's any improvement between what happened last year and this year. And we're saying this against the backdrop that the government has said that solid minerals investment is the way to go to get Nigeria out of recession and to reposition the country. How do you see this as a member of the Committee on Solid Minerals and someone, a member from Nascard State, the home of solid minerals?
I strongly feel that the federal government of Nigeria is still paying lip service to the development of solid minerals in Nigeria. Because if they are serious on the diversification issue, then more has to be done in terms of the budgeting for the ministry. Our over-dependence on the oil sector has been a very serious disadvantage to this country in the past. Now that the price of oil is fluctuating, the reality is beginning to dawn on everybody that we need to look elsewhere. And like I told you in our last chat, I said if we really need to diversify, the way to go is the solid minerals sector, agriculture, ICT. These are areas that, with a little tip from the federal government, people will be able to create jobs for the teeming youths and unemployed persons in this country. You cannot say you want to diversify and create employment while an important sector like solid minerals, you are budgeting all 23 billion, and out of this 23 billion, only 12 billion is for capital. If you look at how expensive it is to mine, how expensive it is to even undertake a survey, a geophysical survey, you agree with me that this amount is grossly inadequate. Let's take the sectors one by one. The main the main institute, Nigerian Geological Survey Agency, that is supposed to provide all the mineral locations direct to the target, is giving only 2 billion. What will 2 billion do with a country as vast as Nigeria? And we are lucky to find that each local government in this country is blessed with one form of solid mineral or the other. And so if government creates an enabling environment, it is just left for the people to tap on that and move. Today, those benefiting from this sector are foreign illegal miners. Go to our villages, meet the chief of the village and give him $1,000, and he thinks that is a huge amount of money. And what they take is 1 million folds more than what they have given out. And the most unfortunate thing is that they do not even declare to the federal government what they have taken. They come today that, okay, they are looking for lead. There is no single mineral that does not have associate minerals going with it. If they come, they say, okay, they are paying for lead 1,000 naira per kilo or whatever. But what they take along with it is more valuable than what they have paid for. And no single tax is going to the Nigerian government. So this is a huge loss. Look at Namibia. that have organized their solid mineral sector. That has become their main revenue earner. And if we can do that with the abundant blessings that we have, look at bitumen flowing outside in Ondo State, between Ondo and Ogun states. Look at marble, barite, and all other tin, tantalite, and gold in Nasarawa State. Look at gold in abundance in Zamfara State, lead. Look at gold in Niger State, Oyo State. And so we are wasting time, wasting resources in areas that do not give us much returns. So if the federal government can concentrate and invest more in the solid mineral sector, there will be more employment, because if you go to some of the illegal mining pits today, you will find thousands and thousands of youths scavenging, because there's no serious mine in Nigeria, no single serious mine in Nigeria. The only person that I think within this region that is doing something is Zuma, who is mining coal in Kogi State. He is the person who is doing something in a semblance of mining. All the others are just scratching the surface. The real thing is down there, and nobody is seriously mining. So if the federal government wants to seriously diversify, seriously wants to create employment, the area to go for now is the solid mineral sector.
So,
not neglecting the agricultural sector. And
so in other words, the provision for mining this year is just solid minerals is just 3 billion, because that's the capital.
It's for the whole sector. The ministry itself is giving only 7 billion. The agencies that are really working, that the mining cadastral office, for example, that is in charge of the main thing, the actual thing that is being done in the field, is giving only 484 million. What will that do? What will that do? So there is need for them to be adequately funded. I have shouted so many times in the committee level that if we definitely need to do something to develop solid minerals, to bring it to par with the mining. We've seen what mining has done to South Africa. We've seen what it has done to Namibia. Why do we allow foreigners to come here? They have locations, they have maps, they have maps of these minerals that they can go directly and find, while we do not even have. Why can't we spend money and know where these things are and monitor them and tax people appropriately?
So this brings us to the issue of the size of the federal government. I think most other persons have said the federal government is the size of the federal government is so unwieldy. Sir, how can the federal government mine minerals all over the country? Does this not bring to fore the necessity to unbundle the act establishing mining and oil, so much so that a state like Nasarawa State can mine for Nasarawa State and declare and pay tax to the federal government, so that each state that has minerals can devolve and make investment adequately and provide jobs, other than waiting for the federal government whose interest is mostly oil?
Well, the issue of fiscal responsibility of the federal government, or an act of the federal government that deals with what it owns is a matter of a different day's discussion. But what I still want to insist is that there might be a need for the federal government to diverge some of its interests and delegate to some of the states some of these responsibilities for them to carry. It will be much better. We are operating a kind of system that is all inclusive. The state governments are supposed to be independent, but are they? They are not. They come to the center every day to come and just sit down and collect what is collected centrally from the oil, while they have what it takes at their doorsteps to be able to manage their affairs. So those things will have to be definitely looked at by the National Assembly to see how this can reduce the pressure on the federal government.